Hello friends, in this video we are going to see some brief introduction about national income, because national income is considered to be one of the important topics of Indian economy. Before entering into the definition of national income, we must know what does economic sector mean. A division of a country's population based upon the economic area in which that population is employed. National income is nothing but the overall income of the people who are living in that nation, right? So all the peoples are engaged in different sectors. So based upon the areas in which those people are employed, those population can be divided into different sectors. That division is called economic sector. Basically, the economic sectors are divided into three types: primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. These primary divisions are based upon the basis of the nature of the activity performed by the people. So what does this primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector means? Primary sector is nothing but a sector of an economy making direct use of natural resources and extraction of raw materials from it. Example: mining, fishing and agriculture. In a particular area, in a particular sector where the peoples are directly engaged in employment, where they are obtaining products directly available in the natural earth, directly available from the natural resources of the earth, like mining. In mining, peoples are directly extracting the minerals and elements which are naturally available from the earth. And in fishing, where the fishes are naturally available from the oceans, lakes, rivers, etc. And agriculture, land as a major resource. With the help of land, any kind of crops is being sowed and harvested. So these are the activities. In those activities where the peoples are directly dependent upon the natural resources, are directly engaged in natural activities, these kind of employment are considered to be primary sectors. And another sector, secondary or manufacturing sector, it is concerned with producing finished goods. Example: factories making toys, cars, clothes, etc. In a particular sector where the products are made based upon the desire or requirement of the people. So in these areas, in these sectors, it is not directly made from the natural resources. The products which are obtained from the primary activities, that is the products which are obtained from the natural resources, are used as the raw materials for making any of the desirable product by changing the nature of those raw materials, or clubbing or amalgamating any of the minerals or some other products. Everything which is needed for the desirable product is being made in a factory unit or manufacturing sectors. That kind of sectors is considered to be the secondary or manufacturing sectors. The examples are toys, cars and clothes, which are manufactured in the secondary sectors. One thing we have to note that in these two sectors, primary sectors and secondary sectors, we are obtaining the final output, that is we are getting the final output as a physical product. So those products are considered to be goods. Okay. So in primary sectors and secondary sectors, the final outputs are considered to be goods, whereas another kind of sector is called as tertiary sector. In tertiary sector, it is concerned with offering intangible goods and services to consumers. Here the output we can't quantify or we can't touch. So only the output in this particular tertiary sector is considered to be services. Services, right? Examples: teaching, banking, tourism, entertainment and IT services are considered to be the output of tertiary sectors. So any kind of activity, any kind of employment is basically grouped under these three sectors: primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. The final output is nothing but goods and services are considered to be the final output of any kind of employment. For example, if we take a family, If you take a family of 3 members where a father is a farmer who is engaged in primary activity like agriculture, and mother is a teacher, she is engaged in tertiary activities. It is a service providing industry. And son is engaged in a manufacturing sector, who owns a car manufacturing company. So all the 3 members of a same family are engaged in 3 different sectors of the economy, and their income are based on 3 different products and services, 3 different goods and services. Based upon those different goods and services, they are earning income, right? So all the final values of the output of all the 3 members are considered to be family income. So based upon the family income, they can plan their day-to-day expenditures, or based upon the savings, they can plan for their future. If they are planning to construct a house or something like that, everything is based upon the income earned by all the members of the family together. Like that, if we consider a nation, if we consider a whole nations where all the peoples are engaged in different kinds of activities, and based upon the final values, based upon the final earnings from all the peoples altogether, is considered to be national income. National income. Let us see the definition. The total net earnings from the production of goods and services in a country over a period of time, usually 1 year. So the total earnings, the total incomes are basically depend upon the total value of the final goods and services produced in a country, right? So goods are the output of primary and secondary activities, and services are the output of tertiary activities. How much the values, and from those values how much the total net earnings are earned by all the population of the country is considered to be as national income. And these earnings are usually calculated on yearly basis. And what is the need for measuring national income, and with the help of national income, how it's going to be helpful for other aspects of the economy? Let us see some of the important points. Purpose of measuring national income. It gives us a correct picture of the structure of the economy. So structure of the economy means how the different economic sectors is contributing to the development or changing balance of the economy, how much employment is being generated, and how the output is being made on different sectors based upon the demands and supply of the economy, and how the trades is being balanced between the different sectors of the economy. Everything is being calculated and everything is being defined based upon the quantifiable data of national income, and it gives the correct picture of the distribution of income among industrial regions, functional services and persons. From individual persons to different service providing industries as well as different manufacturing industries, how the income from one person to all the other persons or all the other sectors of the economy is being distributed. We can have a clear data from the national income which will be useful for further uses to assess the trends in the country's economic growth and also analyze the factors responsible for it. How the economic growth is happening in the country, and what are the factors and which economic sector is being mainly contributing to the country's economic growth. These can be calculated, these can be identified with the help of national income. For example, services sector at present is majorly contributing to the country's economic growth of India. So by having all these data as a whole, it enables the government as well as institutions like Reserve Bank of India to formulate intelligent economic policies. So we are going to see what are the methods to estimate national income. Before analyzing the methods, it is important to understand the flow of income among various players to take part in and contribute to the national income. So national income is nothing but the total income of the earnings from all the people altogether, and those peoples are grouped into two major players. those two the income transition or flow of income from one player to another player is mainly contributing to the national income. How those two various players are being divided? Basically, they are divided into two groups: individuals or households, business firms or investors. We have seen that households and business firms are the two major players who are involved in the national income contributions, right? So households are nothing but an individual persons or a family or a housing unit or something like that, whereas business firms are a production unit, or it may be a service providing industries, a production unit like car manufacturing unit, or service providing industries like educational institutions like colleges, schools or something like that. Everything will be considered as a business firms. Let us take an example of a product like car. So in order to produce a car, these business firms in order to produce a single product, that is car, as an output, it must need some factors of production. These factors of production are essential for any of the product to be made. So what are those factors of production? Labor, land, capital and entrepreneur. All these factors of production are provided by households, and these factors of production are received by business firms in order to make any goods or services. For example, if we need to produce a car, it must need an entrepreneur or owner to run that factory. That entrepreneur is provided by households, and in order to establish a factory, he must need some capital amount in the form of investments. This capital amount or investments is been provided from households units, and after having that investment amount, a factory need to be set up in a physical land, right? That land is also provided from households, and after establishment of that factory, in order to produce that product, that is car, as an output, it must need labor as an employee, right? So all these factors of production are needed by business firms in order to make a final goods and services. For getting these factors of production, business firms must pay some additional amounts, right? Business firms must pay those factors of production. These costs which are given by business firms for availing these factors of productions are considered to be the income for households. That is, income for labor is in the form of wages, and for the land provider, the income is in the form of rents. For capital, for investments, the income is in the form of interest, and for the entrepreneur, the income is in the form of profits. So here, households are the sellers of factors of production, and business firms are the buyers of factors of production. Where the transaction between the business firms and households are taken place in factors market, because factors market are the area where the factors of production are traded. Here household sells and business firms buys. So after availing these factors of production, business firms makes the final goods and services, right? So by how these business firms can earn? By selling those goods and services only the business firms can earn, right? To whom they sell those goods and services? To whom means these goods and services are sold to households. Households are the persons who are buying those goods and services, and for availing those goods and services, they have to pay them back, right, in the form of consumption expenditure. For consuming these goods and services, households need to spend in the form of consumption expenditure. That consumption expenditure is nothing but the income to business firms for providing these goods and services. So the trade of these products are taken place in products market. In products market, where the business firms are the seller and households are the buyer. So like in the whole market, in some of the cases households are the providers. For providing those services, they are they are getting income, and in some of the areas where business firms are the providers for providing of those goods and services, they are getting revenue as the income, right? So from these, this is considered as a circular flow of income among the various players involved in a particular economy. Here one thing we have to make a note, right? Income of households is nothing but the expenditure of business firms. Likewise, expenditure of households is the income of business firms. This thing you have to keep in mind. So in order to estimate national income, there are three methods available: expenditure method, income method, output or product or value added method. So based upon these three methods, national income can be calculated. Before seeing these three methods, let me tell an example. If a student wants to buy a pen, he must approach a stationery shop owner, right? The shop owner tells the student that the pen costs 10 rupees. Okay, so in order to buy that pen, the student has to pay 10 rupees. That is, that 10 rupees is the amount spent by the student. That is, the expenditure of the student is 10 rupees, and that 10 rupees is the income of the shop owner. So his expenditure of the student is equal to the income of the shop owner based upon the value of that pen. It is also 10 rupees, right? So consider that example. Keeping it that mind, in the previous slide we have seen that income of the households is equal to expenditure of the business firms, and expenditure of the households is equal to the income of the expenditure. So one's income is equal to one's expenditure. Likewise, if we take country as a whole, because overall income of the entire country is considered as a national income, if we calculate all the expenditures of all the peoples of a country, it will be considered as expenditure method. It adds consumption, investment, government expenditure and net exports. In other form, all the incomes earned by all the peoples of the country, that is, all the incomes for which they spent on the factors of production, their earnings are considered to be as income method. It adds what the factors of production earns: wages, rent, profit, etc. And these incomes and expenditures are based upon the values of the products and services which are produced in the country, right? So if we calculate all the values of the final goods and services, it will be considered as output, product or value added method. It adds the market value of all the final goods and services. We must make a note that these three methods must yield the same results, because in that example the expenditure of that student is 10 rupees, which is equal to the value of that pen, which is also 10 rupees, which is equal to the income of the shop owner, which is also 10 rupees. So everything is equal, right? Like that, the total expenditure of goods and services is equal to the value of goods and services produced. That must be equal to the total income paid to factors that produced these goods and services. So friends, if you found this video very useful, or if you like this video, please like this video and share among your friends and family members. Kindly subscribe to this channel, and if you find any doubts in this video or any of the suggestions you are going to suggest, please mention those suggestions in the comment sections below. Thank you.